Hello, hello, hello. More Genesis news? Is this prog news? I don't know. Do I need to give this a strand? I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know. I'm desperately chasing views. I guess so. But it's kind of. Who remembers Coffee Time? Do you remember that? Do you remember that was a failure? But maybe watch this instead. But anyway, Phil Collins, filthy Phil Collins, is back in the news. Do you remember? Do you remember Genesis? Do you remember Genesis? And they got this tour called like the Last Domino, but there's a question mark, and there was an interview, and they said, "Well, is it the last domino?" And Phil Collins said, "Oh, I'm not touring anymore. I'm not touring anymore. Oh, I don't want to do it. Not touring. This is the last domino. No more touring." Do you remember when he said that? And then, like, just this week, they've announced more dates on this tour that's going to end, but seemingly is never ending. It should be called the Never Ending Tour. That was merely yesterday. Yesterday, this was announced. Even though Phil Collins said it was end, he's not doing any more. It's over. There are more dates. Now, I always say divorces are expensive, and this is why certain folk continue to tour. Even old men in chairs have to tour, and so we've got to turn our eyes to the Daily Mail. I know you love the Daily Mail, don't you? It's a bastion of fine quality journalism. Well, this is Josh Boswell reporting for the DailyMail.com, and we have more news from the Phil Collins camp for him and his ex Oriane. She's Oriane Bates now. Phil will be grilled under oath by his ex-wife's lawyers when he returns from the Genesis tour, and after she claims the singer of Horrible Hygiene was drunk by mid-morning and addicted to painkillers over the battle over his $40 million Miami mansion. Do you remember? It was the Miami mansion that she wouldn't move out of, and he had to get people in to get her out and whatnot because she wants half the mansion. She's taken him to court because she reckons poor old Phil verbally promised 50% of the mansion to her, and that is why she's suing him. And he tried to stop her suing him, but yeah. And so here it goes. Legendary musician Phil Collins were grilled under oath. Now Bates plans to depose Collins on camera in December when he returns from his Genesis comeback tour, The Last Domino. See, there they are together, right? Bates, who married 32-year-old Tom Bates last year, has made a slew of unpleasant claims in previous filings, alleging the Oscar, Emmy, and Grammy-winning musician started drinking heavily and popping prescription pills, failed to brush his teeth for months, and stopped showering, became depressed, abusive, and incapable of having sex. It's a bit much, isn't it? There they are. I tell you don't want to get on the wrong side of her, do you? There he is, sitting in his chair. He's saying, I do wash my balls. I do. And there she is with her new beau. Master Bates. Mr. Bates these days. He stopped showering, brushing his teeth and dressing properly from 2019 until August 2020. Now you know why he's on stage on his own. In the middle of the stage, Mike Rutherford, he doesn't go near him. I don't know if you know, filthy Phil Collins. We're going to start calling him now, Stinky Phil. No, Tony Banks he's got the right idea. He's well away, and is there like a little shield around the drums as well? Because it would explain everything. If Phil Collins stinks, she's horrible. What a rotten woman! Look at him. He's in a chair. He has to use sticks to walk. Bates alleged that in 2017 Collins started drinking heavily and abusing prescription pills, claiming he'd often fall down from a combination of prescription medicines and excessive alcohol. She said on multiple occasions he hit his head when he fell and checked into hospitals under an alias. And your name, sir? My name is Mr. Peter Gabriel. He didn't do that. Her papers claim that Collins had collapsed on stage when performing because he was so impaired that he could not stand up. She also claimed that by 2019, Collins became increasingly depressed, withdrawn, abusive, and following an operation on his back, increasingly addicted to antidepressants and painkillers. She shouldn't be suing him. She should be giving him a cuddle. He was incapable of having sex, she wrote in her court filing. That's probably because of the back injury. He stopped showering, brushing his teeth, and dressing properly. Maybe he needed help. Maybe she was meant to be helping him, and she neglected him. I think this is a combination of spousal neglect. What do you reckon? And yeah, Phil's legal team dismissed Bates' allegations as totally immaterial due to the dispute over the house. It's a nice house. Look at it. I wouldn't mind living there. Look at that. Very nice. I mean, he's got a swimming pool. He could just jump in the pool if he was that dirty. Oh man, he doesn't know what he's let himself in for. Isn't this is something like a third or fourth marriage, isn't it? Third marriage? Yeah, third. Because then she went back to Phil, then she went, oh, it's complicated. So yeah, they're looking at questions about Phil's mindset, mental state, and personal behaviour. Blimey. A friend of Bates who asked not to be named said Orianne feels that while her reputation is being questioned, ideally she would simply walk away if they split the house profits. People forget they still share 2 children together. These guys are adults now. They're big boys now. So, there they are in happier times. Little did Phil know what he was letting himself in for. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, and poor old Phil, he's going to be hoisted before the beak, and his reputation will be examined via video link. Thankfully, there won't be. It's not in smell-o-vision. So they might have actually. She should have requested to do it in smell-o-vision, because then the judge could have gone, yeah, arseholes and armpits. Now, if you'd have said, like, if you peeled back time to when Genesis were in their heyday, if you'd have said Phil Collins is going to end up sitting in a chair, being accused of poor hygiene and not being able to get it up, I'd have said, don't be foolish. Look at him sprinting around the stage. Look at him. They're flying from London to New York to do Live Aid on both sides of the Atlantic. How did this happen? And you got to mock it. It's just. I mean, Gold Digger just springs to mind, doesn't it? Gold Digger. This has got to be dismissed. Poor old Phil's reputation's being destroyed here. He should countersue for, these terrible, terrible claims. I don't think she's really getting people on side by having a go at poor old Phil, who uses sticks to get on stage. But I think we're going to see more of Genesis tours. I think that's the news. That's the prog news. I think there's going to be more Genesis tours now, because poor old Phil, he's got to pay for legal representation, and it ain't cheap. He's not getting Lionel Hutz to represent him. He's probably paying for the best lawyers, and for that, who knows? I think they will end up doing another world tour. He might want to quit, but his lawyers tell him he can't. And with that, I think we'll end and we'll just think about poor old Phil and his poor bodily hygiene. He can't get it up. Dear. It's not nice, is it? It's not nice for him. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm not mocking. I'm just saying how disgusting this is. That his reputation is being dragged through the mire. Again, he's obviously not a well person, and I think he probably needed help. He probably needed, there's been a dereliction of care, and I think it's down to her. I think she's manipulated the situation, so that he was, vulnerable. Yeah, poor Phil was vulnerable. It's terrible, isn't it? And on that, I think we'll end. So all I think to say is, have that shower now and prog on.